That was funny. All right, number 3 first.
I was seeing one.
What? Don't make it.
What is that?
Matt, quit talking now. If I tell you again, you're going to write something. Do it. The hand's not raised, don't say a word. Booker, if you make him talk, you're getting something to do. Okay, number 3. What do you notice about -4 plus I, -4 minus I? They're conjugates, so I'm going to have x is equal to 2, x is equal to -4 plus I, and x is equal to -4 minus I. Since they're conjugates, I know I don't have any more roots. Do y'all understand that? Okay, so now I'm going to have x minus 2 is equal to 0, x plus 4 is equal to I, and x plus 4 is equal to -I. These two can come together as x plus 4 is equal to plus or minus I. How do I get rid of that plus or minus? Square it. So if I square both sides, I'm going to get x plus 4 quantity squared is equal to I squared. What is x plus 4 quantity squared? Well, that's going to be x squared plus 8x plus 16 is equal to -1. Why is that equal to -1? Because I squared is -1. What? Yeah, I did. I skipped the formula. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. Inner gives you 4x. Outer gives you 16. You combine together to give you 8x. You good? Yeah. Moving along. Bring the 1 over. I have x squared plus 8x plus 17 is equal to 0. Now what do I do with the red and the black? Multiply them together. So that's going to give me x minus 2 times x squared plus 8x plus 17 is equal to 0. That's going to give you x cubed plus 8x squared plus 17x minus 2x squared minus 16x minus 34. Combine like terms, x cubed stays, 8x squared and -2x squared gives you a 6x squared. 17 minus 16 gives me a 1x minus 34. Chet, you understand?
Yes.
Why am I doing number 5 whenever I just did one like this?
I did this one wrong.
Okay, what do you notice about this one? Is its conjugate up there? No, you need to put the conjugate up there. So that's going to be 1 minus I squared root of 3. So how many zeros does this thing have? 4. So it's going to be degree 4 whenever you're done. So x is equal to -5, x is equal to -5, x is equal to 1 plus I squared root of 3, and x is equal to 1 minus I squared root of 3. So x minus 5 is actually going to be x plus 5, 2 times, to the point where I'm just going to write them down together there. What can I do? FOIL that. So x squared plus 10x plus 25 is equal to 0 over here. Do we see that? Now, imaginary ones. I have x minus 1 is equal to I squared root of 3, and I have x minus 1 is equal to -I squared root of 3. So if I marry those two together, I have x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus I square roots of 3. So what do I do? Square them both sides. X minus 1 squared is equal to I squared times 3. Why is that times 3? Got just the power in the root. They cancel out. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to -3. Why is it equal to -3? Because I squared is -1. Bring it over, and I'm going to have x squared minus 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. Now, what do I do with the green and the blue? Multiply those together now. So I'm going to have x squared plus 10x plus 25, all times x squared minus 2x plus 4. Can you take it from there? I think we should. Did you get that right? Okay. On the back, any questions on the back? Oh, no. That's because you're trying to add 3 plus 10i here, and 3 plus 10i is not 13i. It's 3 plus 10i. Do you have a real number? Remember I told you to leave an extra space when you're doing the imaginary parts because imaginary numbers not be added for real numbers, they're not like terms. Okay, on the back side, what questions do we have?
I have trouble.
7, 8, 4, 10. Which one?
Just do 7, because once you answer one.
Number 7, f of x is equal to 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 50x plus 75. And the 0 they give you is 5i. Didn't we do this in class yesterday? No, we didn't.
No, we're not.
So now we have to do synthetic division of this. So at 5i, I'm going to drop down 2, 3, 50, and 75. Okay? So if I drop down the 2, that's going to give me a 2. 2 times 5i gives me 10i. 3 and 10i are not like terms. So this is going to give you 3 plus 10i. Well, 3 times 5i is 15i. Notice I'm putting that over here. And 5i times 10i is going to be 50i squared, which is negative 50. So those cancel out, but I'm left with 15i still. Well, 15 times 5 is 75, and I squared is going to give you a negative 1, so that's negative 75 to give you 0. We good? Now what do I do synthetic division at? Negative 5i. So I drop down to 2. 2 times negative 5i is going to be negative 10i. Those cancel out, and I'm left with a 3. 3 times negative 5i is negative 15i. Those cancel out to give you a 0. So now what degree is this? This one made it degree 2. This made it degree 1. So therefore, what's my polynomial? 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So x is going to be equal to negative 3 over 2. Do we understand that? I hate it whenever I forget to put my negative. Sorry, guys. For anybody who wrote down that answer, I said positive 3 over 2 would just be negative. I didn't mean to.
Why does the I stay up there whenever you multiply 5 times 5i times 3 plus 10i?
Right here?
Yeah, whenever you multiply that, you get negative 50 plus 59.
Because 5i times 3 is 15i.
Oh, okay. And then 5i plus 10i.
5i times 10i is negative 15i. Okay, are we good on the back now? Okay, are there any questions over worksheet 1 or worksheet 2? 8 on worksheet 1. Off of worksheet 1. So I have 6x to the 4th plus x cubed minus 20x squared minus 3x plus 6. Okay, well immediately what I need to do is p over 2. P is 6, Q is 6. This is going to be plus or minus 1, 2, 3, 6. Plus or minus 1, 2, 3, 6. So give me all my numbers. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1 half. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 halves. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Go to the next one. 1/3. 2/3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. The next one. 1/6. 2/6 reduces down to be 1/3. 3/6 reduces down to be 1/2. I already have it. 6/6 becomes 1. So there's all your P over Q values. On the test tomorrow, every one of those is worth a point. Do we understand that? So if you miss one, you're done for. Huh?
P over Q, let's,
P is your constant.
well, yeah, but let's say the constant's a negative, is it,
Doesn't matter.
it's just still plus or minus?
Yes. Okay, what's my window size now? -7 to 7. Meaning if my numbers are, my roots are not in between -7 to 7, then what does that imply about my roots? They're imaginary. Do we all understand that? Okay? The next thing I need to do is Descartes. So my positive roots, I need to count my sign changes. Positive, positive, nothing. Positive, -1. Negative, negative, nothing. Negative, positive, there's 2. You see that there's 2 sign changes there. So what this means is n is 2, which means I can have 2 or 0 positive roots. Correct? Now I need to do my negative roots. Well, what stays and what goes whenever I do f at negative x? Even stays, odds go, and the constant always stays. Do we understand that? So I'm going to count my sign changes here. There's 1, there's 2. So my negative roots are going to be what? 2 or 0. So if I make up my chart, positive, negative, imaginary, and total, how many total roots should I have every time? I should have 4. So I can have 2 or 0 positive. So if I have 2 positive, I can have 2 negative, which means I have 0 imaginary. If I have 0 positive, I can still have 2 negative, which means I can have 2 imaginary to give me a grand total of 4. Do you see that? Yes or no? Well, I can have 0 negative, which means I can still have 2 positive, which means I can still have 2 imaginary to give me a grand total of 4. Do you see that? I can have 0 negative still and still have 0 positive to give me 4 imaginary to give me a grand total of 4. Do we understand the long chart on that one? I mean, no. 2 positive can be paired with 2 negative or 0 negative. 0 positive can be paired with 2 negative or 0 negative. You have to have all of the possibilities. Do we all understand the chart? So now what do I do after this? I need to graph this. So if I graph this thing, the problem that we have here is 6x caret 4 plus x caret 3 minus 20x squared minus 3x plus,
You just said plus x caret 3, but it's just plus.
thank you, minus 20x squared, sum x, sum x, minus 3x plus 6. There it is. Clearly, do I need to change my window size? No, because my standard window is from negative has the negative positive sign. So I'm not going to change my window size here. But what can I conclude?
They're all real.
That they're not landing on a whole number, right? which means it's a fraction. So I'm looking for a fraction between 0 and 1. So what fraction should I try there? Menu, graph trace. I'm going to try 0.5. Does 0.5 work? Yes. How about negative 0.5? Nope, negative 0.5 does not work. Okay, how about negative 2 divided by 3? Yep, that works. So now I have two groups. What are the chances the other two are going to be real? Or I mean, going to be rational? Probably not. They're probably going to be irrational. Do we understand that? So I immediately come back over here and I'm going to have two groups that I need to do synthetic division on. I need to do it at 1/2 and negative 2/3. 6, 1, negative 20, negative 3, 6. Half of 6 is 3, half of 4 is 2, half of 18 is negative 9. Oh, this is negative 12 to give me half of that, to give me negative 6 to give you 0. Do it again. 6 divided by 3 is 2 times negative 2 is going to be negative 4. This gives me 0, that gives me 0, negative 18. Half of that's going to be 6 times 2 gives me 12 to give me a 0. So you have 6x squared minus 18 is equal to 0. I'm going to pull out a factor of 6. So x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. So x squared is equal to 9. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 3. Did you see that, Booker? I pulled it out. That was my GCF.
I just disappeared.
Oh, man. I hate it when that happens. That gets me this. X squared minus 3 is equal to 0. Give you x squared is equal to 3. Give you x squared is equal to minus 3. That's the right answer.
Alright, it makes sense.
Yes, I will. Sorry. I divided in my head, that took square root of 9 in my head. Now, what's the matter?
I'm coming.
Uber.
I'm down for
Do you need to see her? I think we want to look at
Does that make sense? Yes. I'll show you here in 1 second.
Well, I'll stop the feedback after this.
Dude!